So, in Roadcraft, we are going to be going through my ultimate beginner guide. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks to help you out in this game, because there are some things that are going to be a little bit frustrating, like for one of the biggest examples, plotting your AI routes for convoys. So, my very first tip is fuel from side objectives that you'll earn from completing them does not carry over to other maps. So let's say you're on the Aftermath map and you've got 8 fuel, you don't want to waste it, you don't want to recall a vehicle to a field service vehicle, then don't worry too much about that fuel, because when you move on to the next map, it's not going to be with you. Then next up, if you need to deploy a new vehicle, you don't have to recover, go into the garage that way. Just hover over a garage icon, and when you're on the map, you hover over it, you can press the button, which is Y on an Xbox controller. That's going to bring up your garage, and it's going to let you deploy vehicles straight from there. You can retain them as well. Then next up is buy a new scout vehicle the moment you have enough money to. They're going to cost around, they're no more than 13 grand. I think the one I bought is like 11,300. But make sure when you've got the money available, you buy one, because they are so much better than the scout vehicle you start the game with. And yes, the vehicles are different. They have different speeds and mobility and things like that. But they've also got different winch lengths. They've also got different winch strengths. And they also have different sizes for the radius of the terrain scanner. The object scanner seems to be the same size for all of them, or at least the ones I've unlocked so far. But yeah, grab yourself a scout vehicle. They're faster, they get through mud and stuff easier. They're just an absolute blast to drive. And then next up, sticking on the topic of vehicles, the moment you can get one of these, I highly recommend it. Buy yourself a vehicle called the Mule T1. It's under the crane category. The reason for this is because when you start the game, you're going to be given this rusty old crane, and then you're going to be given a separate cargo truck. And let's just say you're going to pick up a massive pipe that's got a valve on it. You're going to have to use the crane. You're going to have to drive 2 vehicles there, especially if you're playing solo. You're going to have to drive the crane over to the destination, then grab the cargo truck and go over there, then use the crane, load the thing into the cargo truck, then drive off with your cargo truck and deliver the thing. Whereas if you buy the Mule T1 that has the crane attachment, it's still a Mule T1, but it's just a variation of it that comes with a crane attached. If you buy that, there's no more taking 2 vehicles. You just need to take that Mule T1 with the crane, and the crane works in a very similar fashion. The biggest benefit is the fact that it's attached to your flatbed. So you've got the flatbed, you can use the crane, you've still got all your anchors and everything. You lift up your object, chuck it on the flatbed, strap it in, fold your crane down, get rid of your anchors, and away you go. No more driving 2 separate vehicles. And then the next one, AI can be quite dumb in this game, especially when you're plotting routes. They seem to be quite efficient when you're paving asphalt roads, but when it comes to the plotting routes, they will get stuck in mud that you've never been stuck in before. They will hit a tree stump you didn't even know was there. They'll get stuck. They'll do random 360 turns. They're an absolute mess. So what I recommend with the route planning is always plan to the side of the road, not in the middle, because sometimes you'll have conflicting routes. And if there's any vehicles or anything in the way, they'll just crash into each other. It will fail the route. But on top of that, make sure that you are checking the routes every now and then. You're refining them where you need to. Don't have the gaps between each marker too big. And then if you check in your, go to your map, go to the infrastructure tab, have a look at all the different routes you've plotted. And when you've claimed all the rewards for a route, just go to your map and delete it. You will no longer need that route once you have all the rewards. So let's just say one's going to give you 5 steel beams. Once all of those steel beams have been claimed, you'll no longer get rewards. That route isn't needed. So you can simply just open up the route, you can delete the whole thing, and you can move on. And that way you're not going to have conflicting routes all the time. You're not going to have drivers randomly getting stuck. It just makes everything a lot easier. And then the last thing, when you are laying your own roads, when you've got your dump truck and your dozer, you're making a sand road. After you've got that sand down, don't forget to use the map and change the filter to find your local sand quarry. Once you've got that sand down and you're going over it with a dozer, just go over it again. Always do a second run with your dozer, because sometimes it'll leave lumps and bumps in there. It'll be fine for you to drive over, but again, if you've got an AI route done, they might struggle with it. So get your dozer, go from say end A to end B, flatten it all out, then just drive round to the beginning of end A again and just go over it. But on your second run, go very slowly, and it's going to make sure that all of that sand is really, really smooth. Then there can be no excuses for the AI. The road's going to be as flat as it can possibly be. So yeah, just make sure that you're doing 2 runs with the dozer to make your sand nice and flat when you are laying your own roads. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the game is kind of self-explanatory. It can take a little bit of time. Sometimes it can be tedious. But out of my 10 hours or so that I've played so far, that is the best tips I can give you guys. So that is my ultimate beginner guide for Roadcraft. Some tips and tricks to hopefully help you out when you're playing the game. And what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you out.